already going. She had interrupted.
Stop. Okay, so we're here.
We're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to talk about your podcast?
Well,
What have you been talking about in school?
I know that's like the best feeder into any episode that I do because there's so much that happens at school.
For sure.
So we're finishing our emotional intelligence unit.
Okay.
And as I was teaching each of the 5, so there's 5 pillars of emotional intelligence.
Yes.
And yeah, you've heard.
Yeah.
From who?
From you.
Weird.
Self-awareness is the first, right?
That's correct.
Okay, I've heard.
Okay. So yes, so there are 5 pillars and I taught them all 5 pillars.
Nice.
And now they are creating a children's book where
the kids are creating a children's book?
Yeah. My high school freshmen are creating a children's book.
Whatever.
Based on one of the 5 pillars. So they had to choose one of the 5 that I taught them.
Wow.
And create a story, characters, plot, and everything.
No way.
Based upon whatever pillar that they decided to.
So your children are becoming authors.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Why not?
Wow.
That's right. Makes their creative juices flow.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So tell us about these 5 pillars.
Yeah, we'll start. I mean, each of them, when you go in depth with them, each of the 5 can be its own episode probably. So maybe this episode we focus on just self-awareness. Self-awareness is the very first pillar.
How about you give us a synopsis of each of the 5 pillars?
Okay.
And then we can go into each one in a different episode.
Okay.
So what's the first one? Self-awareness, right?
Yeah, so actually this is what I do with my students. So at first I do a brief overview and then I go in depth for each of them.
Okay.
So the first one is self-awareness.
Love it.
Self-awareness is the foundation for all the other pillars. And self-awareness basically means knowing yourself very well. Being aware, in particular in terms of emotional intelligence, of what you feel and why you're feeling it.
Love that.
Also, a big part of it is being a little more extensive and well-versed in all of the different emotions instead of just I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm angry. Those are kind of the surface, not surface level, but there's so much underneath
the most commonly expressed. I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm angry.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, so like sadness. So it's one thing to say I'm sad.
Sure.
It's another thing to say I feel brokenhearted.
Mm.
It's another thing to say I feel hopeless.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So those emotions tell you
underneath.
more. But what tells you more, right? Someone saying they're sad, okay,
Sure.
in general. But if someone tells you that they're heartbroken, it's like,
Yeah.
whoa, you feel that differently. You feel, if someone says, I feel hopeless, it's like, whoo, right?
Yeah.
Like you can feel a little bit more of the depth of what they're feeling when they can describe their own emotions in a little bit more exact and detailed way.
So sad is like an umbrella of a ton of
correct
emotions.
Yes, that.
Whoa.
Exactly.
So these high schoolers are learning. Most adults don't even understand
100%.
all of these.
Yeah, I
emotions.
didn't learn it until, I don't know. I mean, I started teaching this about maybe 6 years ago, I would say. And it's really developed and got more detailed, more specific, better over time of me teaching it. But it was a realization that we don't get taught this.
Right.
And I was like, well, it's pretty darn important. So we probably should.
Yeah.
And since I get to always be creating and redeveloping my own curriculum, well, let's do that.
Which is so cool. And I feel like that's a whole nother topic.
For sure.
But I want to get into like why you're able to teach what you're teaching now.
Yeah.
Like, yes, happy, sad, angry, and all the things underneath, all the umbrellas, but like, what made you start teaching this?
Emotional intelligence?
Yes.
Probably my own struggles. I mean,
Yeah.
everything that I have learned is based upon stuff I struggled with first and had to learn.
Yeah.
And some things we learn by watching other people, right? This is actually a part of self-awareness. It's the part of it that is wisdom.
Yeah.
And so wisdom can come from watching other people or getting told from other people and then believing what they say, or watching other people and thinking, oh, that seems great, let me adopt that.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, let's not do that,
Right.
right? Or making our own mistakes.
Mm.
That's how we become wise. It's either something we've observed, listened to, or made a mistake ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's a lot of learning. That's why failing is important, actually. It's not something to be,
Huge.
it's a whole nother topic as well.
Yeah.
Write these down while we're talking. It's right. It's like it's a whole nother topic on its own.
Yeah.
Not avoiding failure, seeing failure as an opportunity. Anyway, but it is important not to avoid failure because we learn so much from it.
Yeah.
And so I've messed up a lot, and messing up a lot has made me think, okay, well, I want to be better at this.
Sure.
So along the way of messing up emotionally, not being good at all at expressing myself, not being good at communicating how I'm feeling, not knowing myself well, caused a lot of issues for me along the way. And knowing myself very well now creates a really great life. So why not teach my teenagers at a young age, at least expose them
Yeah.
to this information? Plant some seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your high schoolers must like bow down to you because of
No, they don't, because they're
what
14
you're teaching them,
and they don't give a
It's-
rip about what I'm
Well, they
teaching.
will.
Because
They will.
Yes,
But
they will eventually. And I know this about freshmen. A wise mentor of mine, you may know him, told me that teaching freshmen is very hard
Yeah.
because most of them are not going to recognize how much you're giving them at the time.
They're not ready to comprehend what you're teaching, maybe, or
Yeah. Well, they are in a time in their life, 14 years old,
yeah,
trying to figure out a lot of things
that
all
was
at the
hard
same time.
for me
Oh, God. Teenagers.
personally, and I was a girl. A boy, come on.
Well, we won't even.
Sorry.
We ain't gonna get it.
Yeah.
No offense, guys. Kind of offense.
Kind of a little
Yeah,
bit.
a little bit. No, but that's where they're at, just from a biological standpoint.
Yeah.
Their frontal lobes are not fully developed. That's where we
Yeah.
have our logic and our reasoning. I'm no expert on the brain, but I do know that.
Yeah.
And from teaching high schoolers for 20 years,
Yeah.
it's very apparent every single day. So they're trying to figure out a lot of things, which is also why emotional intelligence is important.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And the self-awareness is for sure number one.
So you touched on one thing that I know that you're really good at,
What's
and that's communication.
Now I am.
So how and when did that evolve into? Because I've never been good at communication, and until I met you and we got into a relationship, was I even starting to become better and trying to learn how to communicate? But like, how have you learned or wanted to teach how to communicate better? Like, why is that so big for you? Because I know it's huge
Yeah.
in everyday life. Like,
Yeah. It's extremely important.
very.
And I sucked at it. I sucked at it. I was
You're
so bad.
so good now.
It took a lot of work.
So that's the thing. What did you have to do to work at it? What did you have to do? How did you take those steps? Like, walk me through that.
Well, it took a number of years.
Sure.
So first it was being self-aware enough to know that I wasn't good at it.
Step one.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Look, we both know people who are not good at self-awareness at all. They don't take the time to reflect.
Yeah.
And therefore they don't know themselves well enough to know what they're not good at. I'm probably too critical of myself. You're definitely too critical of yourself. Many of us are.
Not me.
Yes, you.
Not me.
Okay, man.
Okay.
Any hiddled. So you have to be reflective enough to know. Why did I become reflective? I don't know.
Really? There's no like one situation that stands out to you in your brain, like, okay, that was it.
Honestly, it's probably sports.
Okay.
So I've always loved sports. You
Yeah.
know this.
Yeah.
Started playing softball when I was about 9. And when you're an athlete and you play sports for a while, especially team sports,
Yes.
you, especially during the time that I grew up, like I learned very quickly, like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of people better than me.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people in school that got things easier than I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've always been a quiet observer of people.
Okay.
That I can't tell you where I got that from.
Mm.
I really don't know. Maybe it's from my mom. My mom's not a loud person. She doesn't always have to say a lot, which is like how my grandmother was. And so probably she was like the person closest to me my whole life. And I saw her, she was an observer, is an observer.
Yeah.
And so I probably just copied her. Who else was there to copy?
If you're going to copy anybody, please
Good
let it
person
be
to,
your mom.
yeah, good person to copy, right?
Yeah.
So
Love you, mama.
yeah, you're amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I probably got that from her.
Okay.
And, you know, I think my mom saw from an early age that I was hard enough on myself.
Yeah.
That she didn't need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just have been honest about what I'm good at and what I'm not good at for probably quite a long time. But I think sports probably exposed it even more. But it also exposed something super important, which is you can work on it.
Yeah.
So when it comes to communication,
Yeah.
I sucked at it. I was horrible at communicating. I didn't tell anybody how I felt.
Mm.
I did start writing stuff down. Like I have poems from when I was young.
Yeah.
That was a way that I started to get out a lot of my feelings.
Even if it wasn't to other people, it was just a
never
way
to
to
other people. Never
It was always just
on paper.
to the paper.
Totally. I was very, very, very insecure for the majority of my life. Still have times when I am insecure. You know that.
Yeah.
Also, we're gonna do this, and this should also actually be an episode.
Yeah.
So we should stop now.
Pajamas and all?
We're gonna actually just put this out there.
I think we should go as long as we can, and then we chop and chop.
We're listening to. Okay, fine. So
What do you want to do?
No, that's fine.
This is your.
As long as you're comfortable with it, I'm fine. I don't care. I don't know how the tags go on this. Is whatever. This is helping me. I have some pain and stuff in my neck. Going in the
My neck and my back.
Oh.
Actually, we can pause this though.
No, for what?
I have to pee.
I'm keeping that on the camera, actually.
You should. I have to pee though. What do you want me to do?
No, I think we should stop it and do like a real episode.
This can be a real episode. You can literally cut and chop it.
Oops.
That's okay. Oops. My bad.
I messed up, y'all.
So,
I was only supposed to unpause.
it's okay. Let's at least hide this a little bit.
Okay. Where are we at? Communication.
Hey.
Communication.
Hey
Oh, we're
guys.
closer now. We are kind of far.
It's a new episode.
No, what? No, it's not. It's the same episode. Self-awareness.
Oh, okay. You still
We were
want to go on
supposed
that?
we were supposed to be, I was supposed to be going through a short thing about all the 5 pillars. All
Yeah.
5 pillars. And then you start asking other questions about communication and why this and why that, which is great.
So now you want to start on pillar number 2, self-regulation.
Sure. Well, yeah. So we were talking about communication, which I'll go into deeper when we talk about that specific pillar.
Okay.
Yeah. So right. So self-regulation. So now self-awareness. I feel this. This is why I feel it. I can communicate it.
Yeah.
The communication gets a little bit more into the self-regulation part.
Mm.
So I have a scale that I use.
Okay.
I have a couple scales. So I have a 0 to 10 scale, right? If I say I'm at a 10 emotionally, run, leave immediately.
Not a 10.
That's right. But you know what? None of us should be talking, posting, or making any decisions at a 10. No
Facts.
one. Not at a 9, not at an 8, probably not at even a 7.
Right.
When you get
Right.
down to a 6 and a 5, maybe you can
Maybe.
start having conversations.
Yeah.
But you have to, that goes back to number 1.
Yeah.
You have to know yourself well enough to know when you
That's
should be having
100%.
conversations with someone.
Yeah.
But you have
and
to
that's why it is the number 1 pillar.
correct.
Because it all goes back to
100%.
knowing yourself and knowing when to do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And yeah, self-regulation is just that.
Yeah.
Knowing when to shut the F up.
And the thing about teenagers, but you know this happens with adults too, is
I was just going to say,
They-
adults too.
adults too.
I'm
something
guilty.
happens.
Not everybody else. I'm guilty.
Something happens to someone.
Yeah.
Let's say with my teenagers, someone gets broken up with.
Yeah.
They take to social media and put in their notes something passive aggressive.
Yeah.
When everyone knows who they're talking about,
Yeah.
right? Don't take to social media when you're at a 10. Don't
Talk
open
to
your
the
mouth
people.
when
Yeah.
you're at a 10. Don't make any decisions when you're at a 10.
Tell 'em.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
And you have,
Yeah.
again, you have to know that you're at a 10.
Right.
And that just comes with time, honestly. I mean, knowing
Absolutely.
ourselves is a lifelong journey.
Yeah.
And hopefully we just know ourselves more and more.
Yeah.
But in order to know that you're at a 10, you have to know yourself well enough to recognize that and communicate it. If you and I, for some reason, are having a disagreement about something, we have to have the freedom between us to say, babe, I know I'm at a 10. And so this is not a good time for us to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And then that needs to be respected.
Yeah.
Right? Both ways.
Or we just know they're at a 10. Let's
Let me
just
stop.
wait.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me just stop.
And luckily, that hasn't happened much between
Sure.
us.
Yeah.
But it does happen between people all the time.
Well, it may not be like a point where we needed to say we're at a 10, but
No.
both of us have been able to say, I'm kind of in a funk right now, or I
Yeah.
feel impatient right now.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have anything to do with you,
Sure.
but because we're with each other often.
I don't want you to feel like it's
Yes.
because of you.
Correct.
Just know that I'm not feeling great. And
Yeah.
if I come off this way, nothing personal,
Yes.
but not really feeling it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have that scale, 0 to 10, of whatever emotion I might be feeling.
Yeah.
And then I also have a scale that I've talked to you about, like when you ask me how I'm doing,
Yeah.
right?
Which is often.
Yeah.
More often than it used to be, I feel like. Like, how are you physically? How are you mentally? How are you,
Yeah.
there's a lot of different how are yous.
Yeah.
So explain.
Yeah. So I'm sure everyone has their own version of this, but having it and communicating it to the people around you, I think is really, really important. And this is
Yeah.
part of the regulation piece.
Sure.
So being able to say, like, if I'm asked how I'm doing, and if someone's asking in earnest, like they actually want to know.
Yeah.
Which doesn't always happen. Sometimes people say, hi, how are you? And they don't mean the how are you. They just mean the as hi.
Right.
So just say hi.
Yeah.
Anyway, if someone actually wants to know, then I have a scale. And if I say I'm fine, that means I'm
not fine.
Really, right?
Yeah.
So mine is fine, okay, or all right. Those are the same.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Pretty good is pretty good.
Good.
Yeah.
And then like all my favorites.
Yeah.
Right? Amazing. Excellent.
So fine's at the bottom.
Fine is at the bottom.
It's towards the bottom, actually, because I've heard you say, I'm not doing so great.
Yeah.
And that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And that was for a long time.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard that in a very long time.
Thank goodness.
Thank God.
Thank goodness, yeah.
I've heard fine, though.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I think that's another part of emotional intelligence, though, is however you're feeling is okay.
Yeah.
We don't have to be anything all
Great
the time.
all the time. Good all the time.
No, that's why I started.
Happy all the time.
That's why I started telling people my scale that are closest to me.
I love that.
And letting people know that, like, it's okay. Like, you also have to listen to people. This is empathy, so this is two more pillars away.
Yeah.
But it's important to talk about right now also is that when someone says something, you can't just listen to the words.
Because fine for her is different than fine for me.
Totally.
My fine is like, I'm fine. I'm okay. You know, not good, not bad. Just, I'm fine. Her fine is like bad on my scale.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not about the words. It's really about how your scale is. And everybody's scale is different. And until you ask those questions, like if somebody says I'm fine or I'm okay, so what does that mean for you?
Yes.
What does
that
okay mean?
Yes.
What does fine mean?
Yes.
And I didn't know this until I met this beautiful woman. Like, I wasn't asking those questions and I didn't know the difference. I took their okay as my okay. Yeah. Which is not the same.
No, it's not.
No.
And also paying attention to someone's tone.
Yeah.
And body language when they say it.
Yeah.
When you just said your example, when you're like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
The inflection in your voice, that tells you something. Yeah. When you ask me and I say, I'm okay, I say, I'm okay.
Yeah. Totally different.
Way different.
Way different.
Yes. So to be a great listener is part of empathy. But it can come into play here because when someone says, I'm fine, you have to pay attention to how they say it. Yeah. To all of it. Yeah. I've had someone tell me, I'm good. And I'm like, are you? That didn't sound like it. Right. Right? Just because they said, I'm good, doesn't mean their body or their tone told you that same thing. Yeah. So if we care, we'll ask for the questions.
So I remember recently we were watching Kardashians.
Yeah.
And Khloe and Lamar were talking for the first time in 9-10 years, something. And Khloe asked Lamar, so how are you? And he said, I'm good. And she said, so how are you really? Like, she wasn't going to take that I'm good or that body language for what it was. Like, no, seriously, like, how are you for real?
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously, it's such a different situation. There's cameras everywhere.
Of course.
He's super nervous, right?
Of course, but you can't just take the first, I'm good.
You can.
I'm okay. I'm fine.
People do it all the
time. You can't, of course people do it all the time.
But if you actually care.
And you feel like maybe they're not giving you the 100% truth, you might want to ask again in a different tone or a different way.
Or dig a little bit more. Like you said, like you just mentioned, she was like, but how are you really?
Yeah. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
let's turn the cameras off if we need to.
Sure.
But like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's important.
Yeah, and knowing how to regulate yourself is also important. So the other part of self-regulation is when I'm feeling this way, I do blank to help myself. So when I'm feeling enter emotion, I do blank to help myself. That's self-regulation. Right? So when I'm feeling heartbroken, when I was in high school, because I always try to put myself in high school me.
Okay.
When I'm teaching my high school students, because I'm like,
makes sense.
Yeah, because this version of me is going to respond very different than 14-year-old version of me.
Sure.
So when I talk to them about the truth about who I was at 14, and I tell them, 14-year-old me, freshman me is talking, and I'm thinking about when I'm heartbroken. You know what I used to do? Listen to Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey was my go-to.
Heartbreak, you got the best of me.
But I just keep
Hey.
coming. Okay, anyway. Not karaoke. It was the album. It was a very, very much a slow album.
All.
There was no...
The one with My All on it.
Whichever one has When I Saw You and When I Saw You, When I Saw You, I don't know, remember the rest.
I remember exactly.
Could not breathe, I felt
It's fine.
so deep. Oh.
It's fine.
It's fine. You
It's
got
fine.
it.
Yeah, I know exactly what song you're talking about.
Okay. Anyways.
No.
But
I
there
think
was
it went
an album.
differently. That's why.
I'm not even singing the right words. It's fine. Sorry, Mariah. I apologize.
No, I think it's different. It's okay.
Anyways, whatever album When I
Yeah.
Saw You is on,
Yeah.
that was my go-to.
Okay.
So when I was feeling heartbroken,
Mm-hmm.
that was my go-to.
Okay.
And music, I would say in general.
Mariah
music
was always the go-to.
well,
Always.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Sorry.
your self-regulation, ma'am.
Sorry. My bad. Whitney and Mariah.
Yeah, understandable. So,
Yeah.
so for me in high school, it was Mariah and Mary J. Blige.
Yes.
When I was sad, heartbroken.
Okay.
When I was like really frustrated, I felt jealous a lot when I was younger
Okay.
because of my lack. So jealousy, gosh, this is its own episode too. Write it down.
That's okay.
Jealousy is just an outward expression of insecurity.
Sure.
So being very insecure, the jealousy is the part that caused a lot of the problems.
Yeah.
So jealousy, sometimes that looked like heartbreak. Sometimes jealousy looked like anger. I got very short with people.
Sure.
It was, it was a tough time.
That's...
But when I was feeling like angry or frustrated, then it was Missy Elliott or Busta Rhymes.
I was going to say Busta.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. All
So
right.
yeah, music was big for me for my own regulation. I didn't have any other regulation skills.
Sure.
I just turned to music.
Sure.
Or I wrote poems.
Okay.
So now,
And that's a way of... Poetry is a way of writing music in a sense. Like,
Sure.
I'm sure Mariah and all of them, like, wrote poems before they were writing music.
Sure.
So, not that you're a music writer,
No,
but...
I am not.
But that's the same expression that they had, I'm sure. Just like a pen and paper and writing how they felt, and then it became music.
Sure.
Right? Like,
Yeah,
you have to write it down before it comes to music.
for sure. Yeah, so those were my ways of regulating.
Yeah.
So what's important here, though, is that everyone understands that they have to find their own way.
Yeah.
My ways are not necessarily someone else's ways.
Sure.
I will tell you, for my high school students, music is big for them as well.
Yeah.
Because relating to music is universal. You can find songs for every emotion, really. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
So that was my self-regulation at the time. I didn't know the term self-regulation. No one was teaching me that. I didn't know how to regulate.
Yeah.
Sports was probably a great outlet for me.
I'm
With
sure.
whatever I was thinking or feeling, I could just go play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of time,
For
too.
sure. For
So
sure.
it's practice, it's games,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
all of it.
Sure.
That takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
So you don't even have time to think about how you're feeling, what you're feeling, all the things.
It was
It's like,
time to focus.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's self-regulation, like a surface level.
Sure.
So next is self-motivation.
Ugh. I've always struggled with self-motivation. Always, my entire life.
Sure.
Say something. Say something, please.
Damn.
Say something.
Okay. So, I'm not saying that's not true. I've only known you.
Go ahead.
So motivation.
Yeah.
Tell me what you think motivation is.
This is not about me answering questions.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, it was just going to kind of prove the way that I was taught, or the way that people are taught about motivation, I don't think is accurate.
Which you've told me before.
Yeah.
I get that. Tell the people how you feel about that. Like, I know.
Yeah. So
I know.
Okay. So for me, the problem with motivation is that all motivation is whether I feel like doing it or not.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Then who is self-motivated
Right.
all the time? Nobody. That's the answer. Zero
Yeah.
people. No one ever. No one has ever, and there will not be a person who always feels like doing stuff.
No.
It's just not going to be a thing.
Right.
So that's my beef with motivation. How it's taught. Yeah, I don't know what that was. Whatever. I've never been in a fight in my life. What do I know? So that's my problem. That's my problem with how motivation is talked about.
Sure.
Is like this. It's just a thing that you should just feel all the time.
Yeah.
What? Who? When?
It's
Why?
not. It's not.
Because no one feels like doing something all the time.
No.
Right. So I talk to my students about the fact that self-motivation really should be talked about in the way of discipline.
Determination. Oh.
Or, okay, I'll go with determination.
Oh.
But discipline.
Discipline too. Yes.
Discipline specifically because nobody's motivated all the time. The reason that people do things is because they're disciplined, not because they're motivated. People also think that
determination plus discipline, maybe.
I mean, if you are disciplined, there's most likely a reason why you're being disciplined, which makes you determined.
Okay.
I think it's a part of it.
Okay. I can see that.
Right? Because,
yeah.
like,
I've agreed with you before on this, so I might as well keep agreeing with you. That makes sense.
You don't have to.
No, but
disagree.
No, I could, but it doesn't make sense too, because I agree with that. I do.
A lot of students will say, well, Miss Geist, I don't feel motivated. Especially right now, this time of year, it's like the end of the school year.
Please.
Yeah, no one feels motivated.
Especially
but we're going
seniors.
to do it anyways.
Yes.
Because why? Well, because maybe it's a habit that we formed. Maybe we have a goal we're going after. So we're
want
not
to graduate,
doing,
for
right.
sure.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't have anything to do with feeling like it. It has everything to do with, well, there's a goal that I have, and I know that doing this thing gets me there. So I'm disciplined enough to do said thing to get me there. That's what it is. So it's not about motivation. And people also think that motivation comes before action.
Mm-mm. No.
Start doing something.
Absolutely.
And then you'll feel probably a little bit more motivated.
100%.
Yeah. You can't sit there and be like, oh, well, I'm waiting to feel motivated.
I'm motivated, but I'm not doing it yet. No.
Or that motivation's going to drop out of the sky on you.
No.
Since when did that happen?
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen.
No. Start do something for 5 minutes. And then
or 1.
There'll be or 1 minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, start however small you want to do it. That's fine. But action actually brings the motivation.
And routine.
Habits,
for sure.
Discipline, all that.
Yeah.
So that's my thing about motivation. Self-motivation. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do this with high schoolers.
It's really fun.
Is it?
It is.
Okay.
Because they get it. Like, what I'm trying to tell them, when I tell them, like, does anyone feel like doing their chores? Does anyone feel like doing homework? No and no.
No.
So why do you do it? Because a bunch of them, not all of them, but a ton of them do their chores. A ton of them do their homework.
Yeah.
And they don't feel like doing it.
Yeah.
So I ask them, why do you do it then?
That's good though.
Yeah. Maybe you get allowance.
What are their answers?
Maybe you get allowance.
Yeah.
They have goals. They want to get a good grade.
Nice.
So they know that doing the homework gives the points over time lead to the grade that they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have goals. They want to get good grades. They want to make people proud. They want to go to college. Right? Like all of these things, beginning with the end in mind, all these things that they have as goals mean that, well, if I want that, I have to do this.
So I know we're on the 5 principles.
Pillars, ma'am. Pillars.
5 pillars. So I'm going to stay on track, but I have so many questions about like all the other things.
Okay.
But let's talk about pillar number 4. Empathy. Okay.
Oh man, I can go on and on about empathy.
I know you can.
But for the sake of this episode, because we'll do a separate episode on empathy, I would love to introduce everyone to the platinum rule in case people don't know what the platinum rule is.
What is the platinum rule, we ask?
So everyone knows the golden rule.
Do we?
Stop. Are you serious?
What's the golden rule?
Stop. Friends, treat others the way you want to be treated.
Why do people know that's a golden rule? Am I tripping?
Are you being serious?
I swear to God.
No one's ever taught you the golden rule? Not even in school?
I know people have said treat others the way you want to be treated.
Oh, yeah, that's the golden rule.
But I didn't know that as the golden rule.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
So that's why I was like...
Oh, so no one's ever called it the golden rule to you. You just knew treat others the way you want to be treated. Oh, okay.
Of course.
All right. Well, that's called the golden rule.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So I was taught the golden rule growing up, and then in some really great, awesome anti-bias work, one of our phenomenal trainers taught us the platinum rule. I don't know where he learned it, but this is empathy. Treat others the way they want to be treated.
Ooh.
That's completely different. You have to take into account. Sheesh. You have to take into account another person.
Yeah.
So I can't just treat you the way I want to be treated, because what if you want to be treated different? Right.
Yeah.
So how do you know how someone else wants to be treated?
Asking them.
So empathy.
Talking to them.
Correct.
Yeah.
So here's the thing about empathy. You have to be willing to take the time. It's intentionally deepening your conversations and knowledge of other people. That's the only way you can have empathy. You have to start with actually trying to understand another person, to take off our lens of perspective and put on someone else's lens of perspective.
Wow.
And their entire story that comes before this very moment.
That seems so easy, yet it's...
Oh, no, it's not.
It's not. Like, it seems so simple, right? Like, all you have to do is treat other people the way they want to be treated. It seems simple.
It's very difficult.
It's not.
Well, it can become easy if you practice it.
Sure. I don't think I'm saying it correctly.
No, you are. It does sound like just treating other people the way they want to be treated. It doesn't seem like
a lot, right?
Yeah, because because you do it already. So it doesn't seem like, to me, it doesn't seem like a big deal. Like, duh.
Yeah.
I need to treat you like you want to be treated. We're not the same person. You've gone through different things than I've gone through. So in order to try...
It is a lot, though.
Yeah, because
it's a lot.
It is, because you have... And that's why a lot of people don't do it. Not true empathy. Because it takes time. Yeah. And we're so... Empathy requires time.
Why is everyone so like this?
Well, because that's our society. We don't have to be that way.
We don't have to be that way.
No, there's some things that kind of require...
Life is too short. Life is way too short.
For sure.
To be so quick and driving so fast to get to these places.
Yeah.
And like, you're cutting me off in traffic to get there, 5 seconds earlier? Like, it's the quickness for everyone that's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Is it really worth it? Like, take those 5 seconds to really calm down and figure out what this person's trying to say or how they feel, or like that 5 seconds or that 10 seconds or whatever it may be might mean the world to somebody else, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not about me. I'm asking you the question, so go ahead.
I think it's good to hear as many perspectives as possible.
Yeah.
I also think that when you grew up, I know for sure when I grew up, we weren't in that same exact space in our society. So we know how to do that.
Yeah.
I don't think that my students know how to do that. And it's not their fault.
No.
But hopefully it is something that they do decide to do. For sure it can be learned. However, their worlds, their entire lives
are different.
Yeah. Everything has been at the tip of their fingers their entire lives. And not us.
You think that's all because of social media and all because of, not social media, but because of technology?
Yeah. I just think
computers, phones.
Society around them has always been about immediate gratification.
100%.
They haven't learned, and the generations before me, because I'm older than you, the generations before me, right?
A little bit, not a whole lot.
8 years.
They didn't hear that.
8 years. So, your parents, my parents, my grandparents, right? They even know even more than we do how to, because they grew up in a different era where it wasn't all the time.
Yeah.
I think our generations are the last ones that have kind of had both. But these kids that I'm teaching, they've never had it. All of it's been go, 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 go. So unless their home life has taught them to just be. Yeah, just be. Why would they know how to do it?
Yeah.
Everything else around them is immediate gratification.
Yeah.
So to be able to slow down and take the time and really get to know somebody else and their perspective, it takes a good amount of time.
Yeah.
And in a fast-paced world, that has to be super intentional. So empathy is intentional. That's the thing about it. But it can be worked on. It is something that, like,
all of it can be.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about emotional intelligence is if we're not good at it, we can become good at it.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like you in communication. You weren't always good.
No.
Now you're amazing, and now you're teaching me and others. And you're teaching us all these things you weren't always good at.
No, I wasn't good at any of them. So
amazing. What's pillar number 5?
Social skills. This is the application of
social skills.
Social skills is the application of all of the other pillars. So putting it all together. And social skills, people get a little bit confused. So I tell my students all the time, I know some of you think you're good at social skills, and let me just tell you, you're not. That's what I tell them.
Yeah.
And they're like appalled by it.
Yeah.
And then I start going through
like,
all the
I know
things
how to make friends.
Yeah. So this is where I got them though.
Mm.
So yeah.
You might get me too. I don't know.
Well, maybe. I don't know. No, I don't think so. No, because this is where I got them. So I told them, so social skills on the surface is your ability to build, maintain, and filter relationships.
Okay.
Some of them, are good at building.
Yeah.
And maybe maintaining, but they suck at filtering.
Sure.
I looked at them and said, some of y'all, you're still sitting next to people that distract you in my class. You're not good at social skills.
Yeah.
Some of you are in toxic friendships or relationships.
Yeah.
You're not good at social skills.
Yeah.
Because you're not good at the filtering part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So some of my more like outgoing students who have a lot of friends think that they're good at social skills until I get to the part where I say filtering, and they're like, why you gotta do that to us, Miss Guy? Stop. Just trying to tell you.
Right.
Just trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is basic social skills, but it's so much more.
Wait, so tell me how those popular kids who can speak to anybody and talk to anybody don't know how to filter.
They don't know how to do a couple of things. First of all, they suck at code switching. And this generation in particular, really bad at code switching.
Code switching is part of
social skills for sure.
Social skills?
100%.
That's true.
You don't. So these kids, they talk to adults the way they talk to their friends, and I'm like, who are you talking to?
Yeah. No.
What are you doing? The language that I still don't use that language in front of my mama.
So they're just talking to you like they do their friends.
Sometimes. Well, they're talking to their friends, but they're loud enough for me to hear them. And so I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So code switching is a skill and an important skill.
Sure.
You don't talk to your friends the way you talk to your teachers, the way you talk to your parents, the way you talk to your grandparents.
No.
Those are not the same.
No.
The way you talk in an interview. I said, some of y'all are going to go in an interview and they're going to use abbreviations. And they're going to be like, thank you for coming.
Right. BRB.
LOL.
Yeah, right.
Lol. No,
Not
bro.
lol.
Yeah. They say that's what they've shortened the short.
Not lol.
Yes. Lol.
Stop.
No. I'm just look.
High schoolers say lol
Yeah.
instead of LOL.
Yeah, they already shortened it to LOL, and now it's lol. That's too many.
I can't.
LOL takes too long. Well, listen, I don't say it. They say it. But yeah, so there's a lot to social skills, honestly.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot. But that's the main part. Building, maintaining, but the filtering. So knowing who's good for you and who isn't. Who you should spend time with and who you shouldn't. Who brings out the best in you, who doesn't. Knowing that you're a giver and someone else is a taker and getting them takers out your life. Period.
So get them out.
Yeah, so that's, I could go further about social skills too. There's a lot in there.
Oh, man.
Vulnerability is a part of social skills, which leads into trust, right? Like, that's all of it. It is. We'll get into it. That is
episode 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
But,
wow. All important.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wrap it up for us. This has been a lot. This has been a lot. I don't know that what people came on here to learn about was what they learned. Yeah, I think they probably learned like 10 times the amount.
Sure.
Which is amazing.
Or even if you just took one thing, that's good.
Yeah. 100%.
And the goal from this, right, is to go in depth in each of them now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But this was an overview.
Yeah.
Of the 5 pillars of emotional intelligence.
Man, this is what you teach your kids. This is something I wish I had learned as a high school student. I really did.
But I'm glad I get to teach it to them now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible what you do, what you teach, who you are, and just people getting to know you. And
Stop it.
Okay.
Stop it.
No, honestly, it's really, really fascinating and incredible what you teach.
I'm honored to do it. Because one of the biggest reasons I teach is because I want to be what I wish I had. I had some great teachers, but they didn't teach me this.
Hence, be the change.
Oh, God.
Can we talk about that for like 2 seconds? For like 2 seconds.
Okay. Well,
honestly.
All right.
Keep it short and simple, but tell the people like who you are and what you are. If they don't already know by what you just said.
I do have an apparel line that I love, and it's in its infancy stages in terms of what's out there, but it's not in its infancy stages in my heart. It's been there for a long time, and it's called Be the Change Apparel. And the quote, "You must be the change you wish to see in the world," has been instrumental in why I became a teacher, but also just in who I am as a person. Apparently when I was really young, like 8, someone told me this, the after school program that I was at during elementary school. One of the adults there that was helping take care of us, she said that, "You've said that you're gonna make a difference in the world since you were like 8. I was like, what? Who says that when they're 8? But I just have always wanted to give. And I've been around givers in my life. And I love clothes. And I love clothes that mean something. And so Be the Change Apparel, the goal is for people to feel good in what they wear. And to be reminded by the messaging on the shirt of how incredible each and every single one of you are.
Love that. And Be the Change is inspired by who?
Gandhi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not everybody knows that.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that was Gandhi's quote. "You must be the change you wish to see in the world." So the whole idea behind that is just, you can't just talk about how you want the world to be, because the world is the way the people in the world make it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The world is the way we all have decided for it to be.
Facts.
So if everybody in the world was loving, then the world would be loving. If everyone in the world was empathetic, then the whole world would be empathetic. Right?
You would hope so.
So be can be followed by anything, and whatever that thing is, let's be it.
Be different. Be loving.
Be kind.
Be the
respectful.
change.
Be
Be
the
proud.
Change. All of it.
Yeah.
Be yourself. Anything that follows be, and I have so many ideas, is going to, I hope, empower people to be whatever that says on the shirt. And just be, just the logo be.
Be whoever you want to be.
Just be.
Yeah.
Be you.
Be you.
Be authentic.
Be authentic.
It's one of my favorites.
I love that. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank
Thank
you. It's been fun.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, for sure.
Sweet.
All right.
See you next time.
Ready to put this out?
And cut.